You know, we all kind of have two versions of ourselves, don't we? There's the public version, the one we show our boss, our friends, everyone on social media. And then there's the private version, the one who shows up when we think absolutely no one is looking. What happens when we try to make those two people the exact same person? That's what we're going to dive into today. So let's start with this question right here. Who are you when the audience leaves? It sounds simple, but man, the answer really defines everything. In a world where we're all constantly performing, this question is more important than ever. When the Zoom call ends, when you close the app and it's just you, who is that person? What choices do they make? That's what this is all about. To really get our heads around this, let's just use a simple story. Think of it as a tale of two selves. On the outside, you really couldn't tell these two people apart. But on the inside, well, they're living in completely different universes. Okay, so here's where it gets really interesting. When people are watching, a manager, a client, a teammate, both the performer and the person of integrity are amazing. They're on top of their game. They do fantastic work. They say all the right things. From the outside, they are literally indistinguishable. So if they look and act the same in public, what's the big deal? What actually separates them? Where's the fundamental difference? Well, it's not about their skills or how they behave in the spotlight. It's about something way, way deeper. And boom, here it is. This is the moment of truth. The second the audience is gone, the performer just changes. They start to cut corners, do just enough to get by. Why? Because the external reason to perform is gone. But the person of integrity, their standards don't budge. They act the exact same way, whether the whole world is watching or no one is. Now, this difference isn't just about having good discipline. It's actually rooted in a really profound philosophical idea. It's a concept that gives us a completely different lens for thinking about our private actions. And that concept is called Otento-sama. It's the belief that the sun itself is this kind of divine, impartial witness that sees everything you do. Not just the big public achievements, but all the small, private choices too. The idea is you're never really alone. You're always accountable, at least to yourself, under the constant watchful eye of the sun. And this quote just hits the nail on the head. Real, genuine self-respect, it's not something you get from likes or promotions. It's something you forge by yourself in private. It's built from all those tiny moments where you choose to do the right thing, even when you could have totally gotten away with doing less. So this idea of Otento-sama, this unseen audience, it completely shapes the inner worlds of our two characters. How they feel on the inside is a direct result of what they do when they think they're alone. Let's step into the performer's shoes for a second. Internally, they're probably living with this nagging feeling of being a fraud. There's this constant low-level anxiety that one day people will see the real them. That gap between their public persona and their private self is exhausting. But now, look at the person of integrity. It is a completely different reality. Because their private actions are in sync with their public values, they're building this rock-solid foundation of self-respect. There's no gap to worry about. They feel authentic, they feel whole, because the person they are in private is the exact same person everyone else sees. Okay, this all sounds really good in theory, but how do we actually do this? How do you build that kind of self-respect in your own life? Well, it's not some grand one-time gesture. It's a quiet, daily process. It happens in this simple three-step loop over and over again. First, life presents you with a small, unseen choice. Deciding to return the shopping cart or admitting a mistake no one would have noticed. Second, you make the choice that actually aligns with your values. And third, right in that moment, a little piece of self-respect is forged. It's like building a muscle, one tiny rep at a time. So really, the whole point of this is to erase that line between your public self and your private self. It's about getting to a place of inner harmony, where what you do is driven by your internal compass, not by who might be watching. And that harmony, that deep consistency between what you do in the light and what you do when it's just you, that's it. That is the absolute foundation of true character. It's not about being flawless, it's about being whole. So I'll just leave you with this to think about. If we live with this idea of Otento-sama, it means our character is always on display. The sun is always watching. So the only question left is, what do you want it to see?